Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, I'm going to be talking about the most recent episode of The Flash. The episode aired last night. It aired a couple days ago on the 18th of May 2020. It was called Into the Steel Force, The Flash. It's season 8, episode 15. So basically, we're talking about obviously is what's been going on with it on the show. Iris West Allen, Barry Allen's wife, obviously is still missing. There was no sign of her in this whole entire episode. Barry Allen is still searching for her, and he had no idea what to do. So he obviously, unfortunately, had to turn to not the Speed Force, but the Steel Force, because no one else was answering his calls, because apparently they're all out of commission. The Steel Force, the Strength Force, and whatnot. I forgot the other one, which was called. It was 3 of them out of the 4, but they weren't answering. So Barry had to turn to Dion, who has been the only one helping him this whole entire time, keep Iris, his wife, obviously alive, and basically her whole entire existence intact, because she's slipping and fading out of existence, kind of like Marty McFly in the Back to the Future movies. She's disappearing, fading away. She touches people, they disappear, and obviously Barry even had to unfortunately ask Tenya, who made Iris disappear after Iris made her mother disappear by touching her. She did the same thing to her to get revenge after she was reunited with her mother after so many years. Hopefully this is the end of Tenya, because that whole situation, I feel sad for her mother. Because she's obviously gone, but she's just like, just don't bother me, leave me alone. I was kind of like, okay, but I thought you were going to find your mother yourself, and you could just, touch people and erase them from existence. But you said you were going to be able to find your mother, but she didn't. The whole situation was really weird. I feel like Iris was just like obviously looking for a charity case run for to Sweet Victory, to throw in her newspaper, obviously, and to obviously distract her from the fact that she's fading in and out of existence and losing herself in the moment, obviously. No reference to Eminem. I know that's an Eminem song. I have his greatest hits album, but the situation obviously is basically like this. This is obviously very weird. We saw everybody in this episode, but there was no Iris West Allen or Sue Dearborn. She's missing as well, so I'm but obviously this is the whole thing. When she's not there, Chillbane's there to take up her screen time, obviously, so that's why we've been seeing Chillbane in the last couple episodes talking to Caitlin Snow about helping Killer Frost come back to life and resurrect her, and that's obviously going to happen, because in this episode it was teased again. And obviously Chillbane told Caitlin, listen, okay, I'll help you. I'm sorry, we had an argument, a disagreement about how I feel about Killer Frost being resurrected, like how you want to do it with science, but he said, I'll help you. And Caitlin and Snow and Chillbane will be bringing Killer Frost back to life in a couple episodes soon to help them fight Doomsday. Not Doomsday. Wrong comic book series. It's Superman. This is the Flash. To fight Deathstorm, aka Firestorm's doppelganger, the evil version of him, who's obviously still Robbie Raymond, aka Robbie Amell, the actor, whose brother is Stephen Amell, who plays the Green Arrow. He was still Firestorm in the first and only first season of The Flash. I don't think it was the second one. He disappeared, obviously. I think it was just the first season. Going into the second season of The Flash, that's basically what's been going on and happening. So what also happened was Chester obviously was figuring out some type of situation where he is being looked at as a supervillain. He lied to Captain Kramer about who picked up who created the bomb that he picked up for her and took to his lab to check and run for a diagnostic, as he said he would. He recognized the mechanisms in the whole entire creation of the bomb. He said, I'm the one that created this. This is my design work. He talked to some student online. His student asked for tips, and apparently the same student was using Chester's work to become this evil person / criminal. And basically what's going on is you saw at the end of the episode, somebody hacked into Chester's computer, downloaded it, and copied his files, and now he's obviously being hacked and used and framed for crimes, obviously. And we don't know who this obviously is going to be, who it could be. I don't think it's Tenya. I don't know who it is, obviously. I don't know if it's obviously Deathstorm, but we'll see what happens with that. This whole entire situation is very obviously out of control, and the situation with Dion as well. We'll get into that more. So basically what happened was Barry asked Dion help him to find Iris West Allen, so they went to the Steel Force. They were looking for her, and they couldn't find her, obviously. And then, obviously, the situation came down to this. Barry and Dion decided to look for Iris, and then once they found out that they saw Tanya's mother. They saw Tanya's mother, and then Barry was arguing with Dion. He's saying, I need to find Iris, but he said, let me help Tanya's mother. Dion told Barry, you don't need to worry about Tanya. Iris is the key. He was yelling at him and arguing with him. Barry was like looking at him weird, like, what's going on? Then when they went to Iris West's office, there was an energy source in there. It looked like it was just a floating green fairy flying around of energy light, or like Tinkerbell from the Peter Pan series. So basically, we assumed it was Iris. I don't know if it was, but it's possible it was. Dion grabbed it and obviously absorbed it into his body and said, sorry, Barry, I gotta go. And he left Barry there. He double-crossed Barry. He left Barry out in the Steel Force, left him trapped there alone, and he had no way to get out of it by himself. Randomly, Dion shows up in 2042 and contacts Barry Allen's kids. Bart Allen was there. We heard him talking, but we never saw his face. We only saw Nora. Nora was the one talking to Dion, and the next thing you know, she disappeared, and with the green light and energy source around her. And she reappeared, obviously, in 2022 with Barry Allen in the Steel Force. Barry was getting help from his daughter, Nora Allen, to help her find their mother, his wife, and her mother, Iris West Allen. They didn't find her, obviously, but they were able to talk to Joe West, and obviously on Earth, where Barry was sitting down meditating. They were basically talking to him through the Steel Force and trying to communicate with him, obviously, to help them out. Still, they're searching for Iris, but they don't know where she is exactly. But Barry said that they will still be able to find her, and there's going to be some way for them to use the power and energy and that Barry just obviously got out of the Steel Force, and he's going to be able to harness. And basically, obviously, that's what they did. They ran through with the force field. They broke through the barrier that was keeping them there, and that's exactly what happened. And they got back home to 2022, their current year in time, obviously, and that's basically what's been going on. We don't know what's going to happen with Iris, obviously, moving forward throughout the rest of the series, obviously. Basically, we're going to see, obviously, if Barry can find her and who can he trust. He can't trust Dion, so I'm guessing he's going to have to turn to the Speed Force, obviously, for help. We obviously don't know anything about that. It's just basically a specific situation where Barry's obviously pitted up against a lot of obstacles that he's going to have to overcome, obviously. But besides, obviously, not being able to turn to Dion anymore, I guess he can ask Gideon for help besides his kids, Nora and Bart Allen, and possibly Jay Garrick, and also trying to contact the Speed Force in some type of way, and also the Strength Force, and the other one as well. The other 3 out of the 4 in order to get Iris out of wherever she's at in the specific and current timeline that she is stuck in, because Dion double-crossed Barry and left him there stranded, while he also grabbed Nora Allen and dragged her into it by going into the future to bring her in, acting like he was trying to help Barry find Iris, but he actually didn't tell Nora West Allen that he was lying to her, and he didn't really actually help Barry, or he was not trying to find Iris. He actually double-crossed Barry and trapped him into the Steel Force and lied to him after he was like, he used him. He said this power source. To me, what Dion did was which is what he did, was use Barry Allen to get the power source and help him move around fast enough to get there, and lie to him about Iris in order to keep him trapped there so he can be on his way, disappear, and Barry will have to have a hard time tracking him down on a wild goose chase, which he can't do in the Steel Force anyways, because Barry Allen does not know how to move around and maneuver through that place, because it's not the Speed Force, because obviously it's not catered to Barry. He's a speedster. The Steel Force is not catered to him because he's not a time god or a time bandit, if you will, that can will their way or use the powers to move around that place very easily without being trapped and or tricked and obviously captured in some type of way. That's basically what happened. So the episode was very cool. It was okay. It was fine. I think it was a little bit better than last week's episode. Just the whole situation with Iris is just getting completely out of hand. We don't even know what's going to keep happening. Barry's just going to keep obviously having to look to see if there's any multiple ways to get her back, and obviously who can he trust. This is obviously going to be a hard decision for him to make as far as going back into the Steel Force if he has to alone. I don't think he's going to drag Nora in. Joe West told Barry this was a terrible idea and you can't trust Dion. He was right. He told Barry this is Dion was planning what he wants to do, but can you trust him? Barry said I have to help him help me, because he's helping me find Iris. This is the only way. And Joe West was right. He told Barry, as his father figure, who raised him, obviously, this was the obvious, after his father went to jail, falsely being accused of killing his mother, but even though it was the reverse Flash that did it when Barry Allen was a kid, but he couldn't help his father get out of jail, obviously, until later on. But anyways, he still died, unfortunately. But anyways, that is what happened, and that's unfortunately the sad truth of the matter. We'll see what happens, obviously, with the rest of the show, but it's obviously very difficult. I don't know, obviously, what will be taking place. What will happen? When will the return of Deathstorm take place? Also, Killer Frost, but it'll be probably in a couple more episodes. Iris will be first. They'll get that out the way as the main plot, storyline in our plot that they want to solve and put a bow on. And then after that, they'll be coming back in for the to the towards the end of the rest of the season. They'll be coming back not simultaneously, but obviously but more than likely at the same time, Killer Frost will return, then Deathstorm will be teased, and then he'll have a final battle build up for him towards the end of the season. Last couple episodes, hopefully Cisco will be able to help them if he comes back, and they have him, also Harrison Wells, Professor Wells, to come back and help the team, obviously in some type of way, and or collaboration, because we know in the last season, which will be season 9, they will be back, but we don't know obviously if they'll be back in this season to help the team take on Deathstorm, because everyone's getting all hands on deck. Obviously, bringing back Killer Frost is the main priority because they need help in the field to fight Deathstorm. Because besides Barry and Allegra, Killer Frost is the one who has powers, and of course there's Chillbane as well. Right now it's 3 of them. They need Killer Frost back to make them a 4. Obviously, person team. So we'll see what happens with that, and possibly the Steel Force, the Strength Force. Not the Steel Force, not Dion, because he double-crossed Barry in the team. But everybody else and other forces can help Barry take down a Deathstorm. Obviously, their combined powers and strength, kind of like what they did with Godspeed. Obviously, we'll see what happens. But that will be it for my review. We'll see what happens with the rest of the Flash, and looking forward to the rest of the season. Basically, I'm kind of confused as to what's going on with the Nora, Bar, if they're going to be joining in, if Cisco's going to be coming back, if we're actually going to see Sue Dearborn back. I guess that's going to be it. I'm not really a fan of her, but we'll see what's going on with that. The whole situation with Captain Kramer and Chester, if Chester's going to be telling the truth to Captain Kramer, obviously about his inventions being used for crimes against humanity and the citizens of Central City, as well as him lying to her police captain. That's obviously his boss that he works for, and that'll basically be it. Chester also did lie to her when he Captain Kramer. He said, "Oh yeah, I can help you. Barry's out in no man's land, but I can help you. Nothing I'm doing is important." Even though Barry asked Chester to help fix some type of machine to help them, obviously with finding Iris, Barry asked Chester if he can do that, but he decided to take that opportunity to go basically self-aggrandize himself and give himself a pat on the back, saying, this is Chester P's time to show the CCPD what I can do as a freelancer or independent contractor by himself. And then of course he ended up having his computer hacked, and we don't know who obviously did that. We'll see obviously what will be the case and who the hackers are behind this when the show concludes in a couple of weeks, and which will be season 8 episode 16 of The Flash. That's basically it again for my review, and that's the end of my video for the discussion of The Flash's current episode. It just happened a couple of days ago. It was season 8 episode 15 called Into the Still Force, and that's basically it. Again, that's the end of my video. This is the picture here. You can see of Barry talking to Joe when Joe told Barry that his idea wasn't smart for help, asking Dion for help, confiding in him and trusting him so much with finding Iris and putting so much of the onus on him, like he's the only one that can help him. And there's no comments on this article. I want to see if there were, but there's none. But that's basically it. That's the end of my video. The review, we'll see what happens when The Flash comes back on next week, and obviously when Superman Lois comes back, because I'll be doing a review of that as well. But again, that's the end of my video. Thanks again for watching, and thanks again for sticking around if you actually are watching these shows, as well as me to support them. I know a lot of shows on CWTV have been canceled. They cancel everything in the last couple of weeks, from Legends of Tomorrow to Naomi to Batwoman to everything basically. I think the only shows left are Flash, Stargirl, and I think that's it. We'll see what happens. Oh, and Walker, Texas Ranger, and there's going to be a Walker spinoff show, and there's going to be a Supernatural spinoff show called The Winchesters as well, so coming out soon, as well as a Gotham Knights spinoff show. So we'll see what happens with all those shows and how well they do, obviously, because the CWTV network's getting owned by Warner Brothers, which is also Warner Media. The new owners there are just cutting the fat, and they're saving money. Is what these companies do when someone else comes in new. They get rid of it's out with the old and in with the new, basically. And that's basically the end of my video review again. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye. Thank you.